For a brief moment, Quinn had forgotten about a world with abilities. A world where people didn't try to get up on one another just for the sake of what? Pride. He looked down and could see the 2 blades stuck in his stomach, blood dripping off the blade. Faye had let go of the blades and took a step back, with his mouth wide open, acting like everything that had happened was an accident. But Quinn wasn't buying it, and he had a good idea what had just happened. As he looked around, he managed to catch a smile on Brandon's face. Quinn then grabbed the hilt half of the 2 blades, and using his strength, snapped the ends off. With the other half of the blade still in his stomach, he started to walk towards Faye. "So you want to play games then?" Quinn said. "Then let's play some games. You've taken some of my blood, so it's only right that I take some of yours." As Faye heard these words, he couldn't help but move back away from Quinn. Something was different, the look in his eyes. "Why is my body shaking? He's only a level 1 user. Calm down." Then, when Quinn was only a few feet away, he swung his clawed hand out. "Blood swipe!" But before Quinn could finish casting his skill, his hand was knocked away by a blade. "Enough! Stop now!" Leo said as he pointed his blade towards Quinn. "2 wrongs do not make a right." "And you two don't think your plan didn't go unnoticed? I will not have students who can't follow the rules in my class. You can leave your weapons here, and you are banned from any more combat classes in the weapon hall." Just then, 2 military men appeared out of nowhere, standing by Quinn's side. "Take him to the doctor's office and make sure he gets treated," Leo said. "Wait!" Layla shouted. "Maybe I should go with him, make sure he is okay?" "He's a strong boy, not a young lady. He can take care of himself." Although Layla was worried about Quinn being hurt, that wasn't her main concern. It looked like from the wounds on Quinn's body that he had lost a lot of blood. Even if vampires could heal at supernatural speeds, that energy had to come from somewhere and would soon need to be replaced. After grabbing Quinn by both of his arms, after a few seconds, Quinn was transported just outside the doctor's office. "Please, get some rest once you've healed up," one of the men said before teleporting away once again. What a handy ability to have. After checking the men had disappeared, Quinn decided to head to the closest bathroom on the same floor. Nearly all the students were in combat classes at the moment, so the halls were empty. The reason why Quinn had decided to head to the bathroom rather than to the doctor's office was because he could already feel his body was healing up. His status screen also confirmed that fact. 12 of 20 HP. Just like before, as soon as Quinn was out of combat, his body was starting to heal at an incredibly fast rate. Quinn looked down, and it looked like his body had healed most of his wounds. However, it wasn't able to heal the area where the blades were stuck. "This is going to hurt." Luckily, Quinn still had his gauntlets on, so he didn't have to grab the blades with his bare hands. 1, 2, 3. He then pulled the blades out as fast as he could in one action. The pain was quick and sharp, and he did everything he could to hold in his screams. Finally, the wounds around his stomach were slowly starting to heal, until suddenly he received some new messages. "Your hunger grows. Your hunger grows. 15 of 20 HP. You will no longer heal. Your HP will continue to decrease by -1 HP until human blood has been consumed." Quinn looked at the message and was trying to figure out what had happened. When Quinn did his tests, he found out that his body would need to consume blood once every 2 days. But this message had come up even though Quinn had only consumed Layla's blood this morning. It hadn't reached the time limit yet. Then Quinn thought about how the blood was able to heal his health. If it worked the same way, then that meant his body was using blood as energy to heal himself. Once this energy had run out inside his body, then he would no longer be able to heal, and he would once again have to consume blood. Quinn felt a hunger in his stomach and started to look at himself in the mirror. His clothes were all bloody, and he was in slight pain, but he still cracked a smile. That's when Quinn also noticed that his top 2 teeth had grown slightly. It was different from last time when he had panicked. This time, he felt calm. He was used to taking blood, and he already knew who his next targets were going to be tonight. The hunger pangs were bearable this time, perhaps because Quinn wasn't in a critical condition. After heading back to his dorm room, Quinn threw his bloody clothes on the floor and changed his clothes out with a different uniform. While Quinn was busy getting changed, he heard the sound of 2 students talking as they walked down the corridor. "Why did I get kicked out as well? You were the only one who used an ability," Faye complained. "Hey, you were fine with the plan when I told you about it earlier. Why are you getting so annoyed about it now?" Brandon said. "You were the one who dragged me into it all because you lost to a level 1. Embarrassing," Faye chuckled. Just then, Brandon slammed Faye up against the corridor wall and held him by his collar. "Do I need to remind you that I'm a higher level than you, Faye, or do we have to fight so you can learn your place?" Faye said nothing until Brandon eventually let go of his collar. That's when Faye decided to walk off in the opposite direction, away from the dorm rooms. "I thought we were friends, Brandon, not just some lackey you control because I'm a lower level than you." Then, as Brandon entered his dorm room, he slammed the door behind him. "Oh, a lover's quarrel, huh? Excellent," Quinn said, as he grabbed his bag and headed out to follow Faye. The combat classes had finished, and the sun was starting to set. With that, a rush of students was now heading back to their dorm rooms, and that included Peter and Vorden. As the two of them entered the room, Vorden's eyes widened as he spotted something. "What the— is that Quinn's clothes?" Peter said as he lifted them off the ground. "They're covered in blood. Did he get hurt during training?" Vorden's whole body was shaking as he saw the blood. What happened to him? Vorden thought. Did the second years target him too, or did something happen in training? "I told you we should have kept an eye on him. We should have killed those second years when we had the chance." "Stop it!" Vorden said out loud. "Huh. Vorden, are you okay?" Peter asked. But without saying anything else, Vorden opened the door to search for Quinn, but as he did, Layla stood there with her hand by the door as if she was just about to knock. "Oh, is Quinn here?" Layla said. But in the next second, Vorden grabbed Layla by the hand, dragging her in, and slammed the door behind her. Vorden then immediately pushed Layla up by the door and pressed his forearm against her neck. "Tell me what happened to Quinn now!" Struggling up against the dorm room door, Layla was finding it difficult to breathe. Vorden was applying an incredible amount of force with his forearm against her neck, and his face was only a few inches away. "What the hell's wrong with you?" Layla managed to groan out. "Hey, Vorden, I think you're hurting her," Peter said quietly. Vorden suddenly started pressing against her throat even harder. Layla was struggling with all her might to get air, and if she didn't do anything soon, she was worried she might pass out. "The little one didn't like you, and the other one told me not to get involved, but in the end, I'm always the one that has to deal with things," Vorden said. Layla's face started to turn bright red. The veins on her neck were popping, threatening to explode as she struggled to breathe. "Hey, seriously, Vorden, you're going too far," Peter shouted. "Shut up!" Vorden shouted as he turned to look at Peter. "My name is not Vorden either." That's when Layla saw her opportunity. The grip around her neck loosened a little as Vorden was distracted. She reached down into her quiver that was attached to her waist and pulled out one of her arrows, then proceeded to stab the arrow into the top part of Vorden's thigh. "Ah!" Vorden cried as he flinched and let go of Layla. Layla then quickly pulled out another arrow with her telekinesis ability and hovered it right in front of Vorden's face. "Don't you dare move, you psycho," said Layla. "I swear if you do, I will not hesitate to shove this arrow right in your head." Peter started to panic at the situation that was happening in front of him. There was no way he could jump in the middle of these two. He was too scared of getting hurt himself. "I don't even know why Quinn asked me to look out for you. If you ask me, he's better off without someone like you." "Wait, Quinn really said that?" Vorden said in a gentle tone. "Look, I'm sorry about what just happened, but I just want to know what happened to Quinn." As Vorden said these words, his eyebrows were slightly twitching. His personality had taken a complete 180 turn, and Layla didn't know what to make of it. For some reason, something was telling her that this boy was dangerous, and if she could, she would have nothing to do with him. But right now she needed to find Quinn. Who knew if he was going on another rampage right now? She was the only one that knew Quinn's secret, and Quinn needed her. "It was just an accident at the combat classes today," said Layla. "He wasn't at the medical bay, so I thought he was in his room, but it looks like he already left. I wouldn't worry about it." Layla then recalled her arrow back into her quiver and walked out of the room in a rush. Then, as soon as she left, Vorden lifted the arrow out of his leg with the copied telekinesis ability and threw the arrow to one side. "Hey, are you all right, man? You kinda acting a little strange there," Peter asked. "Yeah, I'm fine," Vorden said. "She's lying to you. Did you see how she rushed off like that? Something's up. Let's follow her." "Or we could try asking the other students who are in the same combat classes as Quinn. They might be able to tell us who did this to him." "Oh, payback, I like it. Then on the way back, maybe that pretty girl can get into an accident." "No, I told you she's just Quinn's friend. Can't you see she's just as worried about Quinn as we are? She's a good person." "Well, I don't like her." "I agree. We should get rid of her." Vorden, are you okay?" Peter asked again. You've been standing there looking at the floor for a while now." "Huh? Oh, yeah. I just need to head off to the doctor's office, get this wound checked out on my leg. I'll be back when I can," Vorden said as he left the room and headed outside. Quinn had been following Faye from a safe distance for a while now, but it didn't look like he was heading out of the school, and time was running out. 12 of 20 HP. If he lost any more health, he would have to go search for Layla and find his target another time. However, Quinn felt like he would never have an opportunity as good as this one again. Very rarely was there a time when people would be on their own, and especially one that Quinn had a grudge against. That's when Faye started to head up the stairs and eventually went up to the school roof door. After reaching the closed door, Quinn quickly moved and opened the door ever so slightly and started to peek through. Quinn glances around the rooftop, feeling happy for his luck. Faye was the only person he could see up there. "Lady Luck is on my side today." Quinn then took the mask out from his bag and put it on his face. Before he moved onto the rooftop, he used a rag of ripped cloth from his old uniform and wrapped it around his watch to hide his power level. There weren't many other level 1 users who used gauntlets in the whole school. If Faye was to see his power level on his wristwatch, it would be a dead giveaway. As soon as Quinn would open the door, he knew the metal creaking sound would notify Faye that someone else was here. He needed to do everything as quick as possible. "Ready and go!" Quinn then pushed open the door and ran over to where Faye was in an instant. And as soon as Faye turned around, he could see was the red bloodlines in the shape of a claw coming out from a mysterious masked man. "What the—" Faye was too slow to react, and all he could do was lift his hand, but the blow was extremely powerful. When the red lines touched his skin, it immediately caused blood to be drawn. It felt like 5 sharp knives were cutting him at the same time. Not only that, but the force was so strong, it managed to throw Faye into the air. With his 12 strength and extra 3 from the gauntlets, Quinn now had a total of 15 strength, and then the gauntlets also increased his attack power by 5%, making the attack far stronger than Quinn had predicted. Faye continued to fly into the air until his body had hit the back of the gated fence. He then collapsed on the floor and passed out. 11 of 20 HP. Faye didn't even have the chance to use his ability to fight back. It was over in an instant. Blood started to drip from his arms and began to create a small puddle of blood, and before Quinn realized it, his teeth had grown into fangs. He slowly walked over to Faye and could feel his heart beating faster. The sweet fragrances were getting stronger, but Quinn didn't care about the blood that was on the floor. He was more interested in the single vein that he could see pulsating through Faye's neck. Quinn then lifted Faye slightly off the ground and, without even thinking about it, sunk his fangs into Faye's neck. Quinn continued to drink Faye's blood until multiple notifications had appeared. 20 of 20 HP. Blood bank has been filled 100 milliliters. A positive blood type has been consumed. +1 strength stat. 50 EXP has been awarded. As Quinn was enjoying the last few drops of blood when the sudden sound of the roof door being opened was heard. "Huh? So why did you want to meet me on this roof again?" Loop said, rubbing his head. Then, when he looked up, he could see his friend covered in a pool of blood and a masked man with his teeth in his friend's neck. "You monster! Get off of him!" Loop shouted.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Blockbuster YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.